Thank all my guys, everybody back at the shop.
Hey there, everybody. This is Sam Whitman with my co-hosts Davey Weaver and PJ Farmer. We are back at the shop, and I forgot what I was going to say in this intro. Welcome to the show, everybody. That's it. That was the intro.
Welcome.
Short, sweet, to the point. Kind of funny.
We're actually recording. We're not doing intros anymore. So this is podcast time.
So did I do... Okay, so that'll be the intro, and you'll just cut it?
No, he won't cut it. He'll just leave it.
All right.
This is
Doesn't
the
matter.
show, Sam.
Welcome to the show. We don't have any Busch Light tonight, but...
We have a shit show.
We did bring our stellar personalities, and we're ready to give you guys the podcast of a lifetime right here, right now.
So anytime you want to leave, you are free to go because
Can I
God
go?
knows I want to.
No, you can't leave. You have to stay here. Just make it record. PJ,
Hey,
you hadn't talked yet, so.
I was waiting.
We'll talk.
About what?
What? Lane?
Atlanta.
Who's that cast you got?
Oh,
We'll
God.
talk about that later. All right.
Why did you ask him to talk about something and immediately shot him down?
Well, I
You
thought
didn't-
about what his diecasts were, and they kind of pertain to what's later on the docket. So
He didn't even finish the sentence telling you
Hey,
to
PJ,
tell
start
us-
talking. All right, stop.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like hanging out with my wife.
Clip that.
well,
Hey, not everybody likes me.
So, did everybody
Especially-
enjoy Atlanta watching it? I mean, I was there, but y'all watched it.
we were at Bowman Gray.
I watched it on
Saturday.
a phone like this in the stands
Yeah.
at Bowling Green.
It's okay. I've watched plenty of races like that before.
Yeah, there was a.
I was at a racetrack watching a real race on my phone.
Yeah, we were waiting for Rex to happen at Bowman Gray.
Yeah.
Specifically the second sportsman race.
Oh yeah.
That was very anticlimactic.
Really?
Yeah, there was a lot that went on in the first race and some wrecking, and there was supposed to be retaliation, and
guess.
there wasn't.
Typical Bowman Gray. Lots of talk, no action. Am I onto something?
Yeah, it's pretty spot
Yeah,
on.
basically.
Yeah, no on the head there.
There was a lot of talk. There was like 4 or 5 talks.
Yeah,
I
well, they
can't
were
believe
kind
it.
of yelling. Either way.
Yelling, just aggressive talking.
That's
May have
that's
stirred
right.
the pot, but we're not getting into that.
Yeah. No. There's certain things we're not allowed to talk about on this podcast, and that's one of them because we had our crew members have a lot of ties to teams and drivers. So we're just gonna leave
It's
that.
got nothing to do with neither of our teams
No.
nor drivers. This is just all about PJ being an instigator.
PJ is an instigator, and just because this particular situation doesn't have anything to do with it, typically they do.
You don't have a clue.
But
what
it's
you're
better
talking
because
about,
it's funny.
Why didn't we talk about what happened to Bowman Gray in the last episode, Davey?
That's got nothing to do with what we're talking about now, Sam. He didn't instigate anything in that situation.
Jesus Christ, you missed the point. You're missing the point now.
That
You
point
always
was about as sharp as a broken pencil, Sam.
Did you write that down?
No, I thought
Is that
about it
one of
just
those-
now.
one of
Because
those-
I'm clever.
Yeah,
I didn't
that's one of
forget
those
what I was going to
clips
say
he
like
comes
you
up
did in
with
your
when
opening.
He's in the shitter at work. Instead of being in the shop working, he's
Says
in
the
the
guy
shitter.
that watched our entire podcast while at work.
I didn't. I just put it on the TV so we can get views.
Okay, you told us earlier you watched it at work.
No, because we did. It was on the TV at work. I wasn't even in the shop, baby. I just put it on the TV.
So did he watch it or not?
I'm not in this. I don't even work in the same building as you guys.
Thank God, because we
Wow.
really wouldn't get shit done.
Speak for yourself.
If you worked in the same building as us, we
How
would
much shit did we used to get done?
Oh, that's true. It was a lot.
Yeah.
Well, most of the time you had me drunk under a car. Actually, that was just one time.
I'd say that was once, but who gave us memories for a lifetime? And I wasn't
You
even-
weren't even there.
Just for your window is
Thank
bleeding
you,
air.
Davey.
I just realized.
What's wrong with it?
It's bleeding air.
Hell yeah. That car's from 20 years ago.
Exactly. That's what I was talking about. The old ones, not the new ones.
PJ was still in diapers.
How young do you think PJ is?
He's not as young
I'm
as
just
he
saying.
looks. He looks like he's about
Steve
15.
drove that car before or after Dale?
Well, thank you, Samuel.
You're welcome.
That one probably after.
Yeah.
It's not even an Illumina. It's a Monte Carlo, so it's not that old.
Was that an RCR car or was that a DEI?
No, it's just got a 3 on it.
Well, I didn't know if the Busch car was DEI or RCR. I've never
RCR.
really knew. So Junior drove for RCR in the Busch series?
Yeah.
I see. I never knew that. I never really paid attention.
Couple of
Don't you
times.
visit the museum?
Yeah. And that's why the two cars
Because it costs money.
from that
I'll get you in for free.
time.
I've been a lot. I just don't remember.
He was
So-
6.
No, I've been
So it was
within
like 10
the
years
last
ago.
3 years.
I see.
Atlanta was hot.
Was he? Did you attracted to him? Kind of like Truex Jr.
Do you remember his last name?
Yeah, Motor Speedway. It was hot. It was an interesting day. I think I left the house at 5:15 and got back the next morning at like 3. So, 22-hour day. It's fun. It's good times. Good times.
You pushed through tech and qualified. Stop bitching.
How was your
Davey.
how was
Davey
your
says,
mechanic debut on Cully?
oh, it was awesome. It was so much fun. And I got to do my first post-race teardown the first week. So I went ahead
Did you
and
know
got...
what tools to use?
Yes. Contrary to popular belief, I am one of the tire guys that can work on the cars too.
So you're a tire guy.
So I felt right in. I'm a mechanic now. I was a tire
You
guy.
just said you're a tire guy.
Former tire guy,
Not what you said.
new mechanic.
Did he not say he's one of the tire
I
guys
don't
that
know.
can work on a car?
My memory is very short.
Y'all better be prepared because episode is going to be a lot of Davey attempting to be funny and failing. So I hope y'all are ready because I am not.
It's making me laugh. Davey, don't look at me in that tone.
So anyways, keep dragging on about Atlanta. What happened? We weren't there.
I don't know what you want me to say because
How'd it go? Was it a good race?
feel
I mean,
bad
I
when
know
I talk a lot.
you are our at the track reporter.
I agree. So
Tell us what happened.
tech was awesome. We got through pretty quick.
Cool.
That was an interesting day. Drank a lot of water.
What do they have y'all do in tech? What do they have y'all do in tech?
Do you want me to go through the whole process?
Yes.
Yeah, why not?
Okay. I'll make it.
I've
try to
never
make
been
it
through
short-
tech at a track,
Short and sweet.
other than Bowman Gray.
Okay. What?
Mo-
You
mo-
have?
most viewers haven't
Man.
been on a
Not
car
all.
on a team.
It's post-race tech.
Correct. Oh, you want to hear post race?
Yeah, I don't give a damn about
You
pre-race
don't want to hear
tech.
pre race?
No.
Pre race is important.
No, post-race is where it's at.
Just say what you want to say, Sam.
Okay.
Yeah, go.
No, it's fine. We'll do post race. Maybe we'll do pre race next week. Who knows? So post race, they take the top 5 and a random finisher. Only the first and second place cars have to tear down. Everybody has to run through Hawkeye, OSS, and the height and weight platform. You go through Hawkeye first, and if you have enough body damage, they send you. You still have to get weights, but if you have enough body damage, you don't actually have to get heights, just because body damage can affect the spoiler, affect the splitter, the nose, all that, which can basically give false readings. So I believe we definitely had to do heights. So we go through Hawkeye, they scan the body, do a chassis scan, look at it. All right, your body's fine. So here's your next stop. You roll out and you roll to the height and weight platform, which can sometimes be inconvenient because for pre-race tech, they're lined up in the opposite order. You go through height and weight platform first, and then you go through Hawkeye. So it kind of messes up the flow, but it's not that bad. Then we went to the height and weight platform. You top off with fuel. Set your tires to tech pressure, which is different for every track.
OCD.
You roll on the platform, check the heights, and then they pull the height sticks off. Check the weight of the car, and you roll off. And then if you finish first or second, you get the fun opportunity to tear down your car. It's different every week. Basically, the officials will come up with a list, and they're like, here's the list. You roll the car over to wherever your toolbox is in a garage stall, put it up on 4 stands, take the wheels and tires off, and the officials, you run it first. I'm not an engine tuner, so I forgot that part. They run it, take the air cleaner off, put a choker, basically, on the carburetor, shut off air to it, and it should shut the car off because the air's been cut off. If it doesn't, they know you're bleeding air from somewhere, so you got an issue, and you can get in a lot of trouble for that. Then you roll in, put your car on 4 stands, take 4 tires off. They roll through, do their deal, look at it, and then you start tearing apart whatever they want you to. I think we pulled. You good?
Yeah.
I think we pulled the spoiler off. I pulled the gear out, pulled the drive shaft out. They pull part of the wrap off the front nose just to check. Our noses aren't supposed to have, or our body panels in general aren't supposed to have like any Bondo or anything like that. They have to be
Or paint on the nose.
correct.
Unless
They have
it's a
to
real
be
course.
repaired through the manufacturer, 5-star. So basically, they're just checking to see, hey, has it been tampered with? Has it been messed with? NASCAR that's typically things that they ask you to do, but they can tell you whatever they want you to do. Like, it doesn't matter if they say pull the motor out and pull the heads off of it, which is not typically going to happen. But if that's what they say do, then you do it or you get thrown out. So, kind of like last year. You know, we're going to New Hampshire this weekend, and I'm not going to go into too many details, but we did get disqualified on the 10 car with Landon Castle, this car right here actually, at New Hampshire for being too low. That was
unfortunate.
It was a parts failure.
That was unfortunate.
It did. We all thought that Landon was going to get his first win that weekend. We led a bunch of laps, had one of the fastest cars. I don't remember who ended up winning, but we still finished second and then got DQ'd. So that kind of sucked.
Who did win that race?
I don't remember. I
feel like it was a JRM car.
Yeah, I do too. I think that...
Alligator, maybe?
Yeah, I think the 7-1...
Yeah.
So the 7-1, we got thrown out in second, and Gregson finished third, and he got thrown out too. Which is funny that one JRM car won the race, and one got thrown out. Funny how things work like that.
All cars are in their individual entity, so, you know.
Not always.
Well.
Sometimes different.
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
One team, one dream.
Listen, I'm here to give you guys technical insight on these race vehicles.
But not proprietary information.
Yes, but not too much. I can
Just
tell
enough
you,
to get you in trouble, but not enough to get us in trouble.
Yeah, I can say everything that is of public knowledge and anything that does not represent my employer in any way.
It's not straight at all.
What are we looking at there, Photog Chris?
Well, I was going to pull up a picture. I took a couple of pictures at post-race inspection after the Daytona 500, and I thought I might have a picture that was worth sharing, but to get it in the system is a little bit convoluted, and I don't want to mess with things. I was going to show it in front of the camera, but it won't show up.
Okay,
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But I did. I watched. You were right about that. I stood there and watched after the Daytona 500, them tearing apart Ricky Stenhouse Jr.'s car and going through all the process, and I was just like...
Oh, yeah.
And for that race, I mean, they're taking a deep dive. They did a lot. They tore that next-gen car from stem to stern, looking at every little thing, and I was like, good Lord, man.
So last year, I traveled to the Daytona 500 with the 50 Cup car with the Money Team Racing.
Pit Viper, boy.
That's right. The Pit Viper car, that's probably
I was
how
there
I
with you, Samuel.
You weren't you? You were PJ. Well, you weren't there initially when I got there. Remember, I was there all week.
Yep.
So we transferred in through our duel that Thursday night, and for transferring into the 500, we had to tear down. I mean, I can't remember everything. I know we took 4 shocks off. You know, same deal. NASCAR is like, hey, here's your list. Take this stuff off. You know, and obviously, I'm pretty sure the 500 winner gets torn down like very, 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 very detailed. Like that's one of the biggest teardowns of the year, I would say.
Yeah, it looked pretty deep to me, and I've seen them. I haven't stood there and watched like that, but I've just walked by and seen some of those, and that one was like, wow, they were there for a while. And then, of course, what do they have to do after they tear it all down at the Daytona 500?
Put it back
together and send it to the museum.
Yeah.
Are they doing that? I don't think they're doing that with
the first year they didn't. The first year they offered because Cindric won it. Last year, and they said, hey, you know, we can just have one wrapped. But I think Roger Penske said that he wanted it, like he wanted that honor of that car being in that museum. So
It didn't go in right away, though. It didn't go in until later in the year once they had some more cars in the stable.
Right.
But this one, it was there the next morning.
Yeah.
I don't think they left the engine in it. I don't think they leave the
Probably
engines in
not.
them any years.
So,
But-
I think, did we touch on the engines being sealed and only having a certain amount of races? No. I was talking to fans about that at Chicago. Cup Xfinity Truck Series engines can only be run, I think, Jeremy, our engine tuner, said it's 3 times. So they have a limit. So they have, like, when the year starts, here's your engines that you have, and you have to run them for so many races. They're sealed up, and NASCAR keeps track by scanning those seals each week just to make sure you're not using too many. Trying to cut costs. Because, you know, in racing, we're all about saving money.
I can tell by the next gen car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't make it through that sentence without laughing.
It's also one of the things that made Chicago a blank show when cars had to go, those guys that had to go to backup cars, they pull those backup cars out, and they're in various states of ready to go. I heard some crew chiefs saying they had their backup cars as close to ready for Chicago than other tracks just because of the limited garage area.
Correct.
But a couple of those guys who went to backup cars, they had to build those whole cars out.
Yeah.
And even the cars, I think it was one of the Hendrick cars, Cliff Daniels maybe, or one of those guys.
The 9.
Yes.
Yeah, it was nine.
Theirs at Hendrick were very close to ready to go, but still have to put the engine from the primary back into the backup car as
Which is a bitch in those cars.
Yes.
All the carbon fiber, you got to take off the air ducts and the dams and
I don't know.
the
though.
transaxle. It's a pain in the ass.
I don't know. So that you said they did have to put that engine in? Because for our deal, so you're not supposed to take a backup car with the engine. It's one of NASCAR's rules. You can bring a backup car. It can't have an engine in it at all.
Isn't it the top 12 in points in Xfinity?
And what's that?
The top 12 in points can't have an engine in their backup car in
I
Xfinity?
think it's anybody.
Yeah, I don't think anybody can.
Anybody. They changed the rule for Phoenix. I know at Phoenix last year, everybody except the championship 4 were allowed to have an engine in their backup car.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So, again, the rule is you can have your backup car. You can have it as ready as you possibly want it, minus an engine.
and I can
If you
understand
wreck-
because it was the shenanigans that could be played by a
Right.
smart crew chief was, hey, we got a very fresh, brand new engine in the backup car, ready
Yeah.
to go. Go out there and bump it off the wall. Let's put the backup car on the track because that'll give us a leg up. And NASCAR don't even want to start those games, so they say, got to put that engine in.
Yeah. And that's part of the rule, too, is as long as the engine's not damaged, you have to take your engine out of it. You watch practice, when we used to have like regular practices or qualifying, you see them roll the primary car up to the backup, and you'll see them pull the engine out just because if it's not damaged, you have to run that engine. Obviously, if it's damaged, you could put your spare engine in there, but
Right.
typically you're pulling it out, putting it back in the
But you
backup
still have to
car.
put the engine in the backup car. You can't bring the backup car with an engine in it.
Correct.
So even if you damage your engine, you're doing an engine install.
Exactly.
Which leads us to our point of they allowed us to run with the engines in for Chicago, but that's because qualifying was 4 hours before the race started.
Yeah, you just don't have quite as much time. So like
Right.
this weekend, we're practicing qualifying on Friday, race on Saturday. So the garage hours are open, this time to this time. But in situations, if you have one like we wrecked a car at Texas last year, they gave us an hour later in the garage that day, and then they let us come in an hour or two earlier. So
Right.
in situations like that, they'll give you, extra time within reason. They're not, because the officials have to be there. So they'll give you extra time within reason.
Remember the days when we worked in a series that the garage never closed?
Yep.
That
Hang out
sucked.
all
Different series.
That was terrible.
It sounds terrible.
Oh, we were in Coda until like 3 a.m. for no reason.
You want to tell the viewers what series that was, just in case they forgot?
Have we ever actually told them?
I don't think so.
I feel like y'all have talked about it.
They were doing lefts and rights, if that helps.
Yes, we were road course racing, and there was a bunch of wine and cheese.
Not F1.
God,
wish.
not F1.
I would do that.
Do you think I would be here if I was working in F1?
I don't think that you could afford F1
I
tickets.
don't think I'm smart enough to work on the F1 team.
None of
you're
us are
not
smart
wrong.
enough to work on F1 team.
Like they're all engineers but mechanics too.
I feel like we could probably swing it for an IndyCar team, the three of us, but
No,
F1's a
Shit Show Johnny worked for an IndyCar team. I could.
But he was an
definitely
engineer.
not a good one, though. I'm pretty sure they didn't.
Didn't
could
Bo
drive.
work for one too?
I don't know.
Work. I think it was Indy Lights.
Whatever,
That's
that's all
alright.
the same.
I mean,
It's
It's like F3 and F1. It's
or like the
you gotta be
Xfinity
smart as shit
series.
to do it.
Yeah,
Yeah. Xfinity and Cup, what's the difference?
that's true.
a lot.
Now.
Well,
A
Xfinity
lot.
does have the best racing. That is for sure.
This is true.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about the racing. Yeah, obviously, Atlanta came and went.
Yeah.
I think it was a pretty good race as far as Saturday and Sunday. Sunday got rain shortened.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that in a minute. But overall, the racing under the lights, it's just the first time they've done under the lights racing on the new
Yeah.
configuration.
Yes, thankfully.
I'm reading a lot of Twitters. Kind of digging it.
I loved it. Sunday. Didn't love it so much Saturday.
Well, the racing was good for us. For the
It
most
was
part.
great till the last lap.
Yeah, well.
Finished second, as we all know. Second place was just first loser, and, well, that was us.
That's what you get when you got...
If you ain't first, you last.
That's right.
That's not true.
I did see some stuff on Twitter about people hating on Talladega Nights.
Rubbin's racing.
People were hating on that movie.
Hit the pace car.
That's
a different
movies.
Ball jacked up on Mountain.
Woo!
All right, now we're just getting culture confused with Ricky Bobby. All right, anyways,
Ricky Trickle.
You don't remember Tricky Ricky Dick Trickle?
I'm trying to remember what I was going to say next. I was going to say something.
You were talking about the Atlanta racing?
It's just the overtime finish, and I was standing there with you at Bowman Gray, and I'm like, all three of the college cars are in 1, 2, 3. You've got the 21 up there in 4th or 5th.
Yeah.
Parker Kligerman in the 48's running up there. It's like, welcome North Carolina is whipping that ass.
Yeah.
And then the overtime finish in the
mainly
Speedway.
because we were 1, 2, 3.
Well, yes. But then
Till the
Speedway
last
unpredictability happened, and NASCAR overtime, like I predicted, was going to freaking happen. And once that happens as a plate track, I mean, you can have the best plan in the world, and it's still going to go sideways. And
Yeah.
congratulations to the 20 team, but they shouldn't have won. That
Okay.
should have been a college car in victory lane.
We're a little bit
Cautions.
burnt over the race Saturday night.
Untimely cautions.
In
Piss
all
me off.
actuality,
Not seeing a thing.
I am very thankful because we had an amazing points night and we jumped like 2 or 3 spots. So 3 weeks ago we were on the bubble, falling out of the top 12 for the playoffs, and now I think we're like the 8th.
Points are all fine and dandy, but
So we've.
you don't think about those
agree.
until the end of the year. Right now,
Well,
I want wins.
I got to tell you, bud, that was not what I was thinking when that race first ended Saturday night. I can't repeat most of the stuff that I said, but it was something.
We'll move to Sunday.
Yeah.
That was a little bit better. It was good to see the college cars up front. I think Kyle Busch had a top 5 finish.
Yeah.
Both of the college cars in the top 10. AJ Allmendinger led a fair amount of laps.
He just come up about 18 minutes too short.
Yeah. And that was the
3 minutes of which was racing. The rest of it was just riding around in the pace laps.
Yeah, I mean the unpredictability of when it was going to rain, but they had to get to halfway, and I know AJ was or at the end of the stage or whichever it was.
Yeah.
I know AJ was leading for a little while there during when the race would have been called if it would start raining, and then Speedway racing he just kind of got shuffled, and
Yeah.
then it rained when a Hendrick car was in front. So I saw a lot of that on Twitter.
Yeah.
Which, NASCAR's in bed with Hendrick.
In all fairness, Byron is good at
I mean,
plate
they
tracks
didn't find a
and
couple
good
Absolutely.
at Atlanta. He's already won at Atlanta on this configuration, so it wasn't surprising. And I don't think that he lucked into it by any means. I mean, I think that he could have. Obviously, we can't say what would have happened because we don't know.
Right. Really, what I saw
I
though,
think he could have won.
because him and Suarez got 1-2, and it was really hard to touch the top 2. Like third on back would be double file,
Yeah.
but the top 2 would kind of single file out and be able to drive away, or at least keep the pack behind them.
And it was reversed from our race. It's like in our race, the bottom was king, and then last night in the Cup race, you did not want to be on the bottom.
Yeah.
They just freight train around the freaking top and just roll right around you.
Yeah, kind of like little Talladega.
Yeah.
Little Talladega. So that kind of leads in. So we were talking about welcome North Carolina top 5 there for a little while, and team orders or whatever. What's his name? SVG? Van
Shane
Gisbergen?
Van Gisbergen.
Yeah, I was going to say Stan Van. I'm thinking
Wow.
of Stan Van Gundy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyways.
Not related at all. That's fine.
Yeah, no. I'm just SVG.
Yeah.
There was the tweet. Y'all have seen it from Supercars or LCV. I don't know what the Twitter account is. But the team orders, SVG was, it looked like 3 miles ahead of his teammate, and they all but made him stop to let his teammate win the race.
Which is kind of wild.
He's
If you
already
want to
won
roll
like
the
20
video,
races this year, so.
we can do that. And here is the tweet
Hey,
if you're watching.
win breakfast in the morning.
Hell yeah. We were recording on Monday. You'll be listening Wednesday, so it was actually yesterday.
Yeah, we had a win breakfast yesterday. It was bomb.
So that will give Feeney the round win, and it will make a difference. We'll give you some championship updates in a second, but that was a big thing for Van Gisbergen at roughly the halfway mark of the championship to relinquish that. He's done it.
Okay. So even their announcers have trouble pronouncing his name. That's actually amazing.
Yeah.
I thought it was just Americans, but apparently they have trouble too. So.
Yeah. So what I've noticed from this racing series, and from what I've seen on Twitter, is SVG wins Chicago last week in the Cup Series. First guy win his first race in like 60-some years.
Yeah.
And a whole bunch of eyes are now looking at Aussie Supercars because there was all this stuff talked about them last week.
Badass.
And now even
Always has
the
been.
Aussies, Australians on Twitter,
Yeah.
are like, well, this is a great effing weekend for NASCAR to be tuning in.
Yeah.
What a pile of shit.
Yeah.
I mean, and if you did this in NASCAR, first of all, could you imagine what the fans would say? And second of all, you'd be going out of business like MWR did after they
I
did
was
it.
gonna say you'd be penalized. You cannot. What's the word I'm looking for here? You cannot
Manipulate.
influence or manipulate the race in any way. That's manipulation, influence, whatever you want to call
I
it.
mean, look at him.
Yeah,
look
I mean-
how slow he is going. He comes off that corner and
that's
he's
the thing. It's like you see it.
crawling.
And they tell him on the radio. And the same deal, NASCAR monitors all of the radios of all the cars in our series. And if you were to say that, like the famous clip of Clint Boyer being told to itch it and spin it out, like, they know they have that. So when something sketchy happens, they're going to hear it, they're going to listen to it, and they're going to penalize you for it. Just like Sheldon at Nashville. When he wrecked the 18, he come on the radio and said, I'm going to wreck him. With different terms. But
And I think we've learned, from Denny
I would say
Hamlin
allegedly,
on his
but-
podcast.
Yeah.
I mean, he's already been suspended, so
I know.
it's fine.
yeah.
To the Sheldon incident, we had the last year. You go back the Ross v. And I mean, nobody admitted fault there, and nothing ever happened.
Exactly.
Denny all but said, "Yeah, I wrecked him." Well, he didn't get a suspension, but he got points and fined, and the same
Right.
thing happened with Sheldon. We actually, Chase Elliott, they're going back to the data, and they're suspending people for what he's doing, for what Bubba
Exactly.
did last year.
And they suspended that kid in the truck series for wrecking Dean Thompson, the teammate.
That was the ARCA series.
I mean, no. Yeah, no, yeah.
Yeah, it
Arca.
was
If
Arca.
you're talking about
Past
Mid-Ohio,
weekend in
that was
Mid-Ohio?
ARCA.
Mid-Ohio.
They suspended
Arca
him?
suspended him
Oh, no
for this
kidding.
next race at Iowa. Or whatever.
Dude, that was wild. Like, my dude just... And I will say, everybody kind of craps on Arca. They're inexperienced, whatever. That's the point of the series. Are there some kids with daddy's money, as they say? Yes. But when it comes down to it, there can be just some decent racing. And I watched the entire Mid-Ohio ARCA race, and it was a good race. The entire race was very good, and Tyler Ankrum come through the field twice. Like, it was a good race to watch. So, I know they're not all, and there's a lot of torn up shit, but that's
How
just part
mad
of
do
it.
you have to be to wait on somebody, especially your own teammate, for
On
an
a road
entire
course.
lap at a road
On a road
course?
course.
This isn't Bowman Gray or Martinsville where you're waiting 15 seconds
I'd wait
for
till
him to come
Bristol.
back.
Yeah, my guy's
I
like,
mean-
I'll get you at Bristol. Like, that's way too
He was
long.
rolling slow.
yeah.
Waiting
And
on
then,
homeboy.
to add insult to injury, not only did you just wreck your teammate, you're stuck in the sand pit together.
Yeah.
Like,
What an embarrassment.
yeah, you can't drive back and get out of your car and run to your hauler and hide from them.
They probably
you don't
share
have
a
a
hauler.
choice. I don't know. Venturini's pretty. Well, it's like
They're like
Venturini's
pretty
like
top
Hendrick.
notch of.
Yeah, like
Menard
that is
series.
the top series. Apparently, they don't always hire top drivers, but which
And shout out, I heard
In
Michael
fairness.
Self's name on the ARCA, or on the Truck Series broadcast multiple times this week. So,
Interesting.
I thought
Shout
you
out.
didn't like him, Davey.
no, I'm fine with Selfie.
Oh, okay. Well,
I love selfie.
here's your shout out, Michael Self.
It was just that place we all used to work that brought out the worst in everybody, and everybody
feel-
was pinned against the wrong person.
I feel like you can talk about it. You don't work there anymore. What are they gonna do?
Oh no.
I don't know.
Can I say it?
Yeah,
Speaking
I don't
of
want to give them any credit.
Okay, whatever.
Yeah,
Davey was a crew chief.
I was.
That's when you
We
know
also
it's
won a
bad.
race, technically, kind of. Yeah, an old people race.
That's okay. Somebody's
We were
gotta be
first
the
at
fastest
Masters
driver.
out of 3.
Masters.
Out of
I
how
finished
many?
23rd, but we're first.
You were on the podium no matter what.
No, they only put one Masters
Okay.
on the podium.
Yeah, the other one's
Out of 3, he says. That's awesome.
That'd be a solodium.
Actually, one of them wasn't there that doesn't normally race.
Yeah.
That
You're
was
right.
all- Yeah,
There
so
was
there's
only two. Oh, man.
And one of them like blew up lap 2, so it wasn't because of ability.
What track?
Road Atlanta. I think. Yeah.
Always
Road
wanted to go
Atlanta.
there.
Yeah, it was really
It's a fun place. I like Road Atlanta.
We killed the car.
Oh, God.
I
You still got
remember
that video?
I remember the pictures of it.
I do.
Oh, man.
Oh, the chip one? My
yeah, the
reenactment?
chip.
Let's see what else we got. Team orders.
I can give it to you.
You
to
can
plug it.
look at that on your phone.
I know, but it's already up on yours. Well, Austin Hill is the best speedway racer we have in the field. Like, as far as racecraft at speedways, he is one of the best. And, of course, whoever, of course people didn't want to work with him. And, I mean, yeah, it sucks. I'm sure it freaking sucks. But when you're that damn good, people did the same thing to Dale Jr. And the guys that got out there and dominated because they're so good. And you see, even though people didn't want to work with Austin Hill, what did he do? He still ran up front. Even though nobody wanted to work with him, he says. He still ran up front just because he's good. And their cars are good, obviously.
Yeah.
Your cars are good, PJ. But, it's like I said, it's a double-edged sword. He's won how many now? And gotten how many poles in the past 2 years? It's been a lot.
3 this year,
Yeah.
2 last year. Daytona and Atlanta last year.
Yeah, like I said, it sucks to be in that situation where nobody wants to work with you. Yeah. But speaking from a standpoint outside of it, looking in, when you're that good, people aren't going to want to work with you because they know that if you get up there, you're probably going to win again.
But if I knew I wasn't like a top-notch speedway driver, I would be like, I'll go get in front of this guy or behind him. Like,
yeah.
Wherever he's going, I want to go there.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, honestly,
problem is,
some of the passes he was making Saturday night, people couldn't follow him because their cars wouldn't do what his would. Yeah. I mean, they built a hell of a speedway.
The problem too is, where did 21 start?
Dead last.
Ninth.
Or
the 21 started last?
No, he was like 9th.
No, him and they qualified. Yeah,
Changed transmissions.
Yeah.
Well, then never mind.
But they started
They
in the
wouldn't have
back.
been following.
And Austin, I'm trying to remember, he was 7th by like lap 20. I mean, it didn't take him hardly at all. He would kind of go into the corner and kind of jump to the bottom going in the corner and get the run and clear a car before they would come off and they'd get the run off the outside. Yeah.
Okay.
And the 16 did the same thing. The 16 and the 21 were both the class of the field. I know the 16, did they lead any laps?
He started on the pole.
Oh, yeah. Duh.
You were there.
I know. Well, Saturday night was rough, bud. It was hectic. There was very, very much chaos. But the 16 and the 21, 16 was a little bit better, but they were both cars, both drivers were on their games. So, unfortunately, 16 ran out of gas and the 21 got wrecked. So,
that was an aero issue.
And the 2.
what happened to the 2? Because they were 2 pit boxes away from us, and I think they got caught in a wreck or something. Like, I just remember seeing them rolling all their stuff off, but I didn't.
Yeah, it was.
They got caught.
Near
One of the big ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like, I don't know, 30 to go. I
Gotcha.
would say.
Okay. Yeah, I couldn't remember.
It was after a restart.
Gotcha. I was focusing on my new role that night, so that's exciting.
Of standing there on pit road.
Well,
No, I had to run fuel.
That sucks. That's hot.
Yeah, it sucked, but
They make you
it's
keep
all
your
right.
head suck on and all. Yeah, it sucks.
They don't anymore.
What?
Yeah.
I remember rolling down Gasoline Alley at Indy, sweating my dick
supposed
off
to,
because
yeah.
I'm wearing that thing.
Well, don't worry. Indy's coming up in a
What's a
couple
dick?
weeks, and if I can make it out of Indy without dying, well, ladies and gentlemen, we've done something.
You better hope you ain't got pit stall 40 because pit stall 30 to 40 to Gasoline Alley to go get gas,
Yeah.
and pit road's 3 feet wide or
Dude,
whatever.
The pit
Sucks.
the pit stall at the opening sucks. Going all the way back to where the fuel pumps are.
True.
So,
True.
and I have been down on that end before when back in the Starcom days. We were way down there, and it sucked.
I didn't have to
remember
go to
getting
Indy with
jumped on
Starcom.
the last lap.
Yeah.
One time.
Yep. Because that was the weekend. It rained out everything. We
Chassis
got there.
556.
Oh, yeah. The
We
drive
got there
shaft came through the tunnel.
on
Remember, we were
Thursday night.
about to leave. You
I was closing
You,
99
Bill,
taller.
and Ken were in
The other shop.
the other shop. And I'm standing there, we're watching the race. Or I'm the only one in the shop. I'm watching the race.
was
And
on
I
Monday.
see Jeffrey and Landon back it into the wall. And I'm like, oh,
2
shit.
laps to go.
I walk out there and I go, hey, Bill, open that shit back up. We got to get that car out of the trailer. What's going on? Landon just wrecked. Beep, 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 beep.
I don't know how that car was resurrected. It showed up like 3 months later,
Really?
Did it?
looking fresh. Yes.
Where
Y'all
is
remember that?
car?
No.
Dude, that weekend was, God, it sucked. It
Will
rained
Jones.
for 3 straight days. We
Fixed
get there
it
on
up.
Thursday
And then we
evening.
got to work for 3 straight nights. Thanks
We
to y'all.
go in and unload that Thursday evening when we get off the plane. We're in the garage Friday, no on-track practice, no on-track activity whatsoever. Saturday, nothing on track. Sunday, nothing on track. We finally raced.
Yeah, that was
on
COVID
Monday.
before COVID was COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like
Was
Was that the where
17 or 18.
Yeah.
was that? It was 18. Was that because that was the year? It was the last race of the regular season.
Maybe. I don't remember. Somebody was pissed that we brought out the caution. I feel like it was Truex.
Probably. I think that was the year. It was the last race of the regular season.
Yeah.
And then the next weekend,
Proceed.
we were at Vegas.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We almost didn't take the 99 to Vegas.
That was when there was like a earthquake here or something in North Carolina.
Okay.
Because we
I don't
flew out
remember
early.
that.
Yeah,
It was a hurricane. Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah.
We went a day early.
I do remember that.
Yeah. Which, I don't know.
One time we were somewhere and there was an earthquake here.
Guys, we got to fly out early. There's going to be an earthquake tomorrow. That's all I could think. You seen that? I was like,
Yeah.
They made us leave a day early because there was a hurricane.
yeah.
Yeah, but
I remember that.
earthquakes aren't exactly
It was probably-
forecasted, Dave.
It was 2018. It was Florence, and I was at the coast.
Yeah, it was. And it was rough.
Is Florence
It
on
wasn't
the
rough.
coast? Isn't Florence in like the middle of South Carolina?
Well, I don't
I've
know,
been
but
there,
Florence
but it's
visited
been a
me in
while.
Morehead City.
What?
What?
Oh, the
old was she?
hurricane. Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Beep.
Push the line.
There we go.
Let's back up for a second to this teammate wrecking teammates and that Sean Rigatoni getting
Reggaeton.
Higanori?
Yes, that's his name.
Hingorani.
So he also
Christ.
he also had a run in with Bob Schatt.
Oh,
The-
yeah.
the old he's 73 years old. Bob,
Yes.
and
He
him,
did
Bob,
what in his pants?
Bob did not hold back. My dude's
So-
in his camper with his sunglasses on.
Let's listen to what Bob said. He talked to frontstretch.com, and I'm going to play that audio because it was awesome.
Let's do it.
I said I was going to play that audio.
I know. All we heard was you breathing.
It would help if I turned the audio up. Here we go.
Here at Mid-Ohio, after an eventful day, after coming back for the first time in a while, you had an incident with the 15 of Sean Hingorani where he spun you. What did you see from your viewpoint?
Well, the kid's an idiot. I mean, I got into the grass there a little bit, so my spotter told me he was coming, so I stayed to the inside there. He didn't waste any time. He just ran up on me and spun me out. So,
Have you had the chance to say anything to him after?
nah, I'm old school. I'll get him Watkins Glen, maybe, but it'll be big. We're just going to spin him out. We're going to wreck him.
All right, and Watkins Glen the next race then?
Yep. Yeah.
It is now.
All righty.
Yeah.
They were not planning on going to Watkins Glen, but they're
don't
damn
think
sure
they
going
were.
to Watkins Glen now. He said, I'm going to get this month ready just
Yeah.
to do that.
He said, so Watkins Glen is your X race? Yup. Okay.
I'm going to fill the
See
bumper
you there.
bars full of lead shot, and I'm going to let it ride.
It's going to be like a 120
Jesus.
mile DOM.
Yeah.
front
This
bumper.
might be the most coverage an ARCA race gets in the last 20 years.
Or it's going to be like a Bowman Gray thing and nothing happens.
Yeah, I'm gonna wreck him the first chance I get. 5 chances later, I'm still gonna get him.
I feel
I'm
like
gonna get him.
Wrongway Whitman has said that a time or two in his life. He had that
He
nailed
couldn't
down.
keep up to get him. He was going the wrong way.
I was never fast.
That's why he
enough
was
to
always
wreck
busting out
anybody.
people's radiators. You ain't got to be fast. You're on the brake. You're waiting for them.
I never did that.
Why? It looks like so much fun.
It looks so expensive.
Yeah, exactly, and that's why I never did it.
True. So what do y'all think about these rain shortened races? I saw a lot of people bitching that they should have restarted the race at like 4 a.m.
I have
or
a
whatever.
simple,
Did we talk
about this last week? Probably.
Probably because
Yeah.
it was the same deal.
It
But
happened again. So I have an issue with them. Yes, I know they didn't want to go green if there was a chance of rain. 'Cause what happened at Daytona last year, blah, 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 whatever. I get it. I know what happened at Daytona last year. But the weather in Florida and the weather in Atlanta is a little bit different. It's a little bit different. I know it can still happen, but
They saw this one coming, and it was creeping in little by little. It wasn't just going to downpour all of a sudden.
You ran pace laps for 15 minutes.
Yeah, they could have run 20 more laps.
Yeah, like, I don't have a problem with Byron winning, and I definitely don't have a problem with them ending the race as soon as they did. That is, from a perspective of a fan, it sucks. From a perspective of the crews and drivers and people that are at the racetrack, that is awesome, because there's nothing that sucks more. Like, say, I don't know, spending an extra night in a city only to get to the track the next day and not even getting on track again. There's nothing that sucks than having this stuff drawn out and then them saying, well, you know, whoops, we're going to call it. It's like you knew there was rain, call it. What I do have an issue with is riding around for pace laps for 15 minutes. It's like open pit road.
Let the teams do what they want to do to themselves, knowing.
Exactly. And they even said that was part of the reason. They're like,
was that a natural caution that brought out that yellow?
Yeah.
Wrecked,
it was
right?
the Bubba Wallace.
Brian Priest.
So it wasn't
Brian
just them
Priest.
throwing the caution.
No, but then it started sprinkling just a little bit.
Yeah, it's sprinkling.
Just a little bit.
Barely enough to see on the windshields.
Track never lost the track until after everybody was gone home.
Dude, watching. If you watched.
But it was sprinkling.
They brought them down pit road. Crews came out to cover the cars and left the cars. This doesn't take a long time, as we know, but it takes a few minutes. It didn't start raining until all the cars were covered and all the crew members were away. I'm like, we're still watching, and there's no rain, it's not wet, and then all of a sudden,
they could have done Victory Lane in Victory Lane.
And it's pouring. Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
probably at the right amount of lights.
I don't want to race in the rain. I don't want anybody to get hurt. I don't want to do anything irresponsible. And this is not a jab on NASCAR either. They handled it the best way they could. All I'm saying is I would have liked to have seen some more laps run. I'm not in the position. I'm not the one making the decisions, and I'm not going to shit on them for making the wrong decision.
Well, they're gun shy after what happened at Daytona.
It wasn't the
that was a bad one. That was a unique situation that even in Florida isn't going to happen
But the place
every
is
day
so
at that
big.
exact spot.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But they're
and like
scared
I said,
now.
Gun shy.
We tore up a lot of shit in that last
Yep.
year. I mean, there was headers completely pancaked. We destroyed at least one complete race car.
Yeah.
Took it completely
That
out
wreck
of
was so bad, y'all
rotation.
destroyed 3 race cars, one racing, but 2.
I mean, we took one completely out of rotation after that because it was bad.
Oh, yeah.
They showed it Sunday night.
Yeah.
The go-to footage they always is off the 31 Celsius car.
Yeah.
Because you see him go in the corner leading the top pack, and then all of a sudden he loses it, and then you see the 16 circle car, and all of a sudden he loses it, and everybody's wrecking.
Yeah.
And it's just...
Yeah. Like I said,
I remember being on
there's
pit
no
road
right
and being
decision.
confused because I'm like, why did they wreck? It's dry.
Yeah.
And down there, it's pouring down rain.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah. And so I get it. I understand. It sucked. I wish they would have opened pit road, pitted, and then run some more laps. But at the same time, I get it. I'm not mad, and I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, they screwed up and they made the wrong decision. They made the best decision that they had to make at the time. That's it. They made the best decision they could. And could they have raced a little bit longer? Yeah, but could they also have saved a lot of race cars and saved the teams a lot of money?
Probably
Yes,
did.
also.
Probably did.
Yes, also. So
Whether it rained or not.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Because if you would have thrown the green, it would have been absolute chaos, and maybe it would have been 2 more laps. What? What'd you say?
I told PJ he doesn't talk a lot.
Exactly.
Go ahead.
Proceed. I'm listening.
No,
I did want to go back.
You can listen
here
to
we
the
go.
podcast.
I want to go back to last week's rain ended race, dark ending race. So I had a thought about this. Somebody mentioned something on the Sirius Radio today, and it spurred this thought in my head. NASCAR should have a rolling policy, and I think we sort of said it last week, but I wanted to say it. A rolling policy at a track with no lights. If for whatever reason we get into a situation where we're running into darkness, this is when the race will have a white flag.
Yeah.
And then the decision has to be made when you create this policy. Do you white flag with enough time to do a couple of green-white checkers, or do you white flag when there's literally time to run 1 or 2 or 3 more laps, depending on how it works out? And you calculate that time based on the sunset, twilight, and clouds, because obviously with clouds it's darker than if it's sunny, and most of those type of races are going to be sun, cloud, rain problems. But some of them go long because of wrecks into the darkness.
But what if it's a fluid situation and all of a sudden there was no clouds when they told
Atlanta
them, hey,
has
this is what
lights.
time?
Well,
Then,
no,
Like
you just
Charlotte
that
still.
if you say that like right now
what about
it's
Chicago still.
Are we back on Chicago?
Yeah,
right now it's 8:57. Obviously, it's too dark outside to race. I'm looking back there behind you guys now.
Right.
But let's just say 8:30 is the time when you could run the absolute last lap with full clear sky. Then you backed it up to 8:15 or 8:10, and if it's sunny and you have to call it, you call it. But you set that time so that there's no last minute calling of, okay, there's 75 laps to go.
Yeah. Well, I think they get crap
I agree
on
with
anyway.
that.
I think that's an awesome idea. But the problem is with it is last night, I had the opinion of, hey, we can.
Yeah, you can't do anything at a track that's lit
But
with
a-
late. Or
a
you
lot of
could
people-
say the latest we're gonna
Yeah.
be there if it rains is
A lot of people were pissed. And it's like,
Nah.
so they're pissed because they made their own decision. But
go read
then
the Bible.
If you,
Be pissed at God.
I mean,
I forgot what my point was. If they put a policy like
Apparently,
that
I
in
wasn't
place,
listening.
I mean,
if they put a policy like that in place,
Man's
people are going
not
to complain.
wrong.
No matter what they do, they could say, hey, every race fan that comes to this race at Loudon this weekend is going to get $100,000 in a free lobster dinner. It's like, well, why
Lobster.
isn't it $200,000? Like,
I'm allergic to shellfish, damn it.
yeah, just they're going to.
It's too hot to sit in the crowd and wait for that kind of money.
It's too hot to sit in this
exactly.
garage. Oh, man. Speaking of New Hampshire,
I'm taking my $100,000 back then, Davey.
it's New Hampshire.
you got $100,000 for me?
I don't,
Okay.
unfortunately. You'll have to still be pissed.
We talk about, it's right down the road for Concord, New Hampshire.
Davey.
I can't do a Yankee accent. I'm sorry.
Is New Hampshire the one of the most out in the middle of nowhere tracks? I haven't been there yet.
No, it's not.
Not really.
You can go down
Which one is? Watkins Glen, Pocono,
Iowa.
Watkins Glen.
Darlington,
Iowa.
Watkins Glen's pretty out
Yeah.
in the
North
middle of
Wilkesboro,
nowhere.
Iowa.
Caraway.
No, because they're all way closer to anything than Watkins Glen.
Michigan. Michigan's in the middle
Oh,
of
Michigan
nowhere.
is in the middle
Michigan
of nowhere.
is in the middle of nowhere.
So
That surprises
so
me.
is Phoenix.
No,
Kinda.
not like
Phoenix-
It's like 20 minutes from Goodyear.
Yeah, but considering Phoenix is one
you
of
can
the
get to
biggest
Phoenix and
cities
still
in
be
the
going
country.
somewhere.
Yeah, but
You get to
considering
Watkins Glen or-
Phoenix
Or
is one of-
Avondale.
Or Pocono, you ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
Ooh,
It's
the gas
all
station
relative.
down the road, though.
Pocono does.
Oh yeah, that place is good.
Best.
When I went to Watkins Glen a few years ago, we got there and they were like, "We're here," and I'm like,
Huh?
"Where's the track? Over there in the woods."
Yeah, Watkins.
Okay.
Yeah.
We flew into Syracuse when we went to Watkins Glen this last time, and it
Oh man.
was like a 2-hour drive to the racetrack. You didn't have any cell service the whole way.
Shit, I flew into Westchester, north
Yeah,
of New
that
York
place.
City. It was a 6-hour drive over that next morning.
Hey, when we do barf in the bushes tonight, can I tell a Watkins Glen story?
No, because it's not Watkins Glen.
I don't want to save it because I got a really good one.
Well, then
Well,
save it for Watkins Glen
Glen.
week.
Okay.
It's New Hampshire's week, so I'm telling my New Hampshire
New
story.
Hampshire's lobster
Oh
rolls.
yeah, Davey's New Hampshire story is really good, so that's fair.
Where-
forgot.
Have you not looked? Look.
Dude, I know.
No, look.
I know.
I want you to look.
Yeah.
Barf in the bushes. So, Watkins Glen.
Jesus, easy on the soundboard.
Where's
so I
Watkins
thought,
Glen?
Chris.
The Glen. I'll put you down. Sam. Not Sam. Sam. How hard was that? All right. So, New Hampshire. We're going there. Obviously, you mentioned that we almost won the race with Landon Castle last year. Landon Castle last year. We're going to ignore the post-race infractions, and he finished P2 on the racetrack.
Hated post-race infarctions. They just kill me.
So, what are you expecting this year from Loudon, New Hampshire?
In Xfinity,
Landon won't win.
No, Landon will not win. I think that Chandler is going to be very good.
I had the same feeling because I feel like that track could be compared to Richmond in ways,
I think
and especially the way the 10 car was running last year.
Yeah.
If we get it hooked up anything like that, Chandler Smith's going to be.
all three of our cars will be decent. Chandler, Daniel, and we can't tell you who's in the third car because they haven't announced it yet. By the time we release this podcast, they're probably going to. But Photog Chris is over there doing sign language, but y'all can't see that. So maybe it'll be released Wednesday morning. I don't know. It probably.
You're talking about New Hampshire.
New
I'll worry
Hampshire.
about the edits.
What about New Hampshire?
I don't know.
All three of our cars are going to be decent, and we can't tell you who's in the third one. I know I already said that, but I don't know if that's going to get cut or not because I said some bad stuff. But, but like you said, Richmond's pretty similar to Loudon, or Loudon similar to Richmond in some ways, kind of.
You got to have a lot of drive off.
Yeah. So, Chandler should be decent. And then Daniel, I got to say, we were talking earlier before we started. Daniel's fast everywhere. I mean, typically every week we're fast in practice, fast in qualifying, and we have speed in the race. But my God, we have so much freaking bad luck weekends. Like, we were pissed off about finishing second this past weekend, but it's like,
I'll tell you how to fix your bad luck later.
Yeah, I bet you will. Anyways. Awkward silence.
Cricket. We need a cricket.
You did not embarrass me. No, I just
open the door and you'll hear them.
Yeah.
I just I said what I said about
So what I said.
modifieds.
I meant it.
What do you think? How's RCR going to do it? New Hampshire.
You know how I feel about it.
Sheldon going to get him a dub?
Same thing with Mike Hemrick. Like, he has the worst luck ever. Like, he'll run decent.
And then what?
Who knows? Like,
all of it.
Something like crazy will happen.
I'm going to cut that too.
I don't know why you're going to cut it. I don't think the 60 people listening are going to have an issue with this, Davey. What?
Anyways. All right, so they're doing some modified racing. That's always cool racing.
It's a real race car.
It's like the one modified race I enjoy.
Yeah, that's why modifieds are on the TV, live TV every Sunday, because it's real racing. Just kidding. Love modifieds. I'm just kidding. I love modifieds.
The fastest NASCAR sanctioned race car there is.
And modifieds at New Hampshire, if you've never seen it, holy crap.
It's like Cup Cars at Daytona, but cooler.
Dude, it is a heck of a show. The boys get after it, and it is awesome.
Didn't the modifieds get put on Atlanta on the big track not too long?
Didn't they?
Like 30 years ago, 20 years ago.
Oh, yeah. That was
and it was
long
like
time ago.
cars flying off the track. They were going so fast.
They were testing at Rockingham, but they were going too fast. Like, it would have hurt somebody seriously if they hit the wall at Rockingham in a modified.
I hate on modifieds some because they're open wheel and it's easier to get a tire down. But
maybe you need to hang out with me 1 week and work on one.
No,
I've done it one time.
In honesty, yeah, I hate on modifieds a lot, but at the same time, dude, freaking. I mean,
they're badass.
Yeah, absolutely. 900 horsepower, freaking huge tires.
Not that much, but yeah.
That's close though, ain't it? 850, 875?
No, they only got like 650.
Really? Ain't
That's really not a lot.
Grace of God, 900 horsepower.
It's 600, but either way.
Is it 600? Whatever. Apparently, I don't know how much horsepower modified's got.
2,600 pounds, 15-inch tires.
Yeah, well, the weight helps too. A lot. So.
I mean, 600.
You don't say. Weight makes your car faster?
Weight makes your car slow.
Less weight makes your car faster?
This is the new mechanic over here.
Yeah.
You don't say. You don't get what I'm getting at? All right, cool. I'll tell you after the podcast. Anyways,
stop it.
I'll tell you after the podcast. So that'll be cool. Is that race live? Or are they doing those modifieds on float?
Some years it is, some years it's not.
I think it is.
Hopefully it is.
I want to watch that. I enjoy
Friday.
this.
Yeah. No, Saturday.
Saturday?
Yeah, they race before us on Saturday. Because we practice qualify Friday. I think they practice.
Yeah, because they can't race it.
That race is usually live because I remember back in the day before going to the stadium, going to like Hooters or Twin Peaks or something, and watching the race, and they go in the stadium.
Yes, dude.
I always remember my first few years in NASCAR when we got to New Hampshire.
Yeah.
They'd have, for the first New Hampshire race back then, or it might have been the second one, they'd have all the modifieds there and you're just walking around like, damn, I work on cup cars, but those things are so freaking cool. Yeah. Why am I doing this?
They're so low to the ground, just a wide tire. My favorite was Bristol. Like seeing them on that baking with those huge tires.
Yeah. Bristol is a special animal, though, because it's like it doesn't matter what's on it. You go to Bristol, and it's like you watch it on TV, and it's like, that's badass. But then you go in person, and you just stand there in awe of what you're looking at. And you're like,
you stand there and just watch the
place
corners.
is amazing. Yeah. It's,
Love and then about 4 hours into a cup race, and all you've heard for the last 4 is just,
and walking back to the car screaming at each other because you can't hear a damn
My one and only tour win.
Hey, that's fine. Yeah.
Frank Fleming.
The legendary. We got to have Frank on the podcast. Did we talk about that this weekend? Or was that Chris?
Frank Fleming. Yeah, it was prank.
Okay.
Or
Is that what you said?
Will we set up before they get here?
Frank, if you're watching, Chris, if you're watching, open invitation.
We might have to do that one on Saturday, though. We'll do that one from the racetrack.
I got a lot of stuff I want to talk to Frank about.
What?
He has a lot of cool history.
We could just do it as a stand-up taped interview to insert.
Of
That'd be cool.
There. Where's
Sam
where's the
missed it.
logo?
What?
Where's the
you
logo?
want to do it at the track
It's on
on
this
Saturday?
side.
Go
What are you
ahead.
trying
to do?
I'm not.
I was
That
just,
place.
I was just kidding.
Oh,
I
okay.
thought I
I
excluding
mean,
you. I want you to be there for it. It'd be cool.
I thought that would be cool to do it at the track, though. I mean, I want to be there, but that'd still be cool to do it.
We'll figure it out.
track.
That would
Yeah.
be cool, though, to have Frank on.
And again, like Chris said, we could, you guys could do it, tape it, and then we could just plug it into the podcast. Save us 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Like we have trouble finding
Shoot, I-
stuff to talk about for an hour.
I could get questions recorded
When?
at their
We've been
race
talking
shop.
for an hour and y'all ain't shut up yet.
PJ has a couple.
Well,
times.
PJ's a listener.
It took 2 hours to get your
I,
stuff
I like
set
I
up.
like
so-
to learn what goes on in y'all's brains, and it's pretty crazy.
It can be, yeah. And
What are you learning?
the scariest thing is we hold half of it back.
We're legally
Why do you think
required
I'm
Well,
to.
quiet?
We don't hold it back. We just cut it off of here. We are all four very honest with each other. We do not.
Why do you think I'm so quiet? I'm censoring myself.
Speaking of holding stuff back, y'all ready to get my barn from the bushes story of
Let's do
New
one.
Hampshire?
Let's do one more. Let's interlude real quick. Let's talk 3 minutes about one other thing that came up on
Better
Twitter.
time it because we're gonna go over.
Did you read the tweet and
3 to
then
30.
peruse into the article and then see the replies to that article by that
So
person named Hannah Elliott that works for Bloomberg?
Oh yeah.
No, why are you giving them airtime?
I'm just saying, what a bad
Shit take.
Yes,
Yeah.
that shit take.
Maybe the worst take of Chicago
Shit-taki.
from Chicago. Like,
She wrote a lot of things with no supporting
yeah,
sentences.
just shocking. All.
It was bad.
shocking. All is all. It was bad.
It was bad. Why?
Fake news.
I'm not allowed to
say
tell you
that
why.
like
It was bad.
You were fake news.
Yeah.
You can't pull it up on there. I've
It's
already
shocking
tried.
all. It's one of those things where it's like, hey, I'm
I
gonna post
should
a
pull it up on
really
his computer.
crappy, crazy article, and it's gonna get a lot of attention, not good attention. It's like the locals loved it. I don't know if the local government loved it, but
Maybe that's what we should start doing.
I think the local government is trying to figure out how to make more money for themselves out of it.
Yeah.
And by themselves, I mean the taxpayers' coffers of
Yeah.
Chicago, not in their back pocket.
which whatever.
But and good on a city for wanting their city to make money off of an event like that. For sure, you
understandable.
can't just roll into town and go, "Hey, give us the track for those streets for 6 weeks, and we're going to come in here and make $25 million."
Yeah, that's
can't
fair
if
if
you're
they
in
want
Portland.
to get more money. I can understand that, but it's like
It's a supply demand thing, and Chicago could demand more money out of that deal.
absolutely,
I think.
especially after the performance they put on rained as much as it did, and people still showed up.
Yeah, she
Like,
completely ignored the fact that it was the rain that killed the event side of it to that thing. But
Yeah.
I saw those people coming in those gates in masses, and I did a little math, and I never tweeted this back, but it was one of the things that I thought the ticket sales were lackluster.
Yeah.
There were 50,000 people there after the rain delay ended and they got ready to race.
just going off of Friday and then Saturday morning before the rain got there, like it was crazy because I'm looking on social media and I'm seeing all these tweets and posts and stuff, and all the people that aren't there talking about how there's nobody there. I'm like, there are a ton of people.
There were nobody there before they said drivers to the cars, and after they said drivers to the cars, everybody went whoosh
It
to that
was
front to those gates.
insane.
It was insane. And there were more people there for that practice, and the people. We said this last week, but the people around the perimeter wanting to get a look, people were genuinely excited, curious, and whatever. And there might have been 100 people over here complaining about it because that's what people do, and then people
And that's
like
what
take it and run
negativity
with
gets
it.
attention.
And yeah, that one business didn't make any money because they decided to close down
Yeah.
for whatever reason. I guess people that read
That's
books
their
don't
own
need
fault.
background noise.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say that, but
I
you
saw
know,
what their estimated profit loss was for 3 days, and it was like a lot of money. I'm like, it's a bookstore. You're probably not making that much. They may have inflated those numbers just a little bit.
they're trying to get a payout.
It must have been a
Here's
man.
what you're going to pay us next year to
Must
close
have been a
down.
man.
When did Books A
estimating
Million
the
go out of
size.
business? Barnes & Noble barely hanging on, if they're still around.
Yeah.
always love going into Barnes and Noble.
I mean,
something about going in the
city
store made me
bookstores are
feel
cool, and it may be
smart.
one of the best bookstores in Chicago.
Yeah.
It just, unfortunately,
Yeah, you're not making 15 grand in
but
3
none
days.
of those businesses along the front
Yeah.
were out of reach of people that were down there.
You could still walk to them.
You could get to any of the businesses. No, there were no businesses inside of the zone
Correct.
of the racetrack. I think they said the zoo, or not the zoo. What's it? Aquarium.
Yeah.
The aquarium place had to shut down. But
You don't have your face cover on.
hey, y'all, sorry. But anyway,
I don't think he's had it on at all the whole
I've been back and forth. But it was silly to me to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess that's what some people do. They like to
Shock and awe.
get a wow out of
right,
something.
Yeah, smart.
But it was great to see the response on Twitter because everybody
Yeah.
clapped back.
Yeah, even people that weren't necessarily in support of it were like, well,
Don't say it.
it might be NASCAR, but
Or somebody
you're
said-
wrong.
Even Max Verstappen was like, "Wow, this is an awesome race." I think that says enough right there.
Yeah.
All right, Davey, when did you barf in the bushes in New Hampshire?
All right, I did not barf in the bushes in New Hampshire, but that is the name of the
It was
segment.
way longer than 3 minutes.
It was.
Yeah, it was.
Where we share a story from a past event. This is my turn. This is Barf in the Bushes from New Hampshire by Davey Weaver. So this was back in my Rick Ware racing days. As you know, we drove pretty much everywhere back in those days.
Good times.
We had a 12-passenger Ford E250 or something like
It
that.
was a Chevy.
Nah, we always rented vans when I was there.
Oh, okay.
They were bougie one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
We
was-
were on the step up, not quite the fly there. Step up.
That's fine.
So, same kind of thing with y'all's theory of, well, you should need X amount to get home. We were not given enough gas. We were given enough gas money to get to the hotel Thursday, but not to the racetrack Friday.
I'll give you the rest after I have to buy tires.
Man gets a lot of bank deposits. That's all I got to say.
So we leave the hotel Friday morning to go to the racetrack, unload the car, go through tech, first practice. So it's me, a guy named Cody, and a guy named Chris sitting in the van. Cody's driving. I'm in the passenger seat. Cody's sitting in the back seat. No seatbelt on. This is very important. Sitting in the middle of the bench seat. Well, we leave a little bit late, and we're like, shit, we don't have enough time to stop the gas. We really don't have any gas money. We could probably make it there. So we're rolling down the road in New Hampshire. It's kind of hilly. It's New Hampshire. It's nice rolling hills. We're on the downhill. We're on the uphill now. And the thing just runs out of gas. And it just stomps on the brakes or engine brakes or something. Chris comes flying through the middle, face plants the radio. So we realize, oh shit, what are we going to do? We've got to be at the racetrack in 20 minutes. And we're 25 minutes away and out of gas. Oh no.
Awesome.
Well, the guy driving has a bright idea. He says, grab the wheel. I'll jump out and I'll push. There's a
Uphill.
gas station about half a mile. It's kind of uphill.
While
It's like
running.
not long. So I said, no, Cody, you stay in the driver's seat. I've got grass over here. I'll jump. And I'll push it.
That's where we know we have the most traction is grass. Jesus.
Not in
No,
the
because when I
pavement.
hit the ground, it will hurt less than him hitting the ground and hitting asphalt. My whole idea, I knew I was going to tuck and roll, I think. But I thought I was going to be able to get up quick enough and push this van that's moving
You're kidding.
35 miles an hour. So he's like, oh, that's a good idea. I see a gas station up there.
35 miles an hour is fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I opened the door and jumped out and realized how fast 35 miles an hour was. Okay? So I hit the
sheesh.
grass. I tumble more than I think I'm going to tumble. I ended up doing about 4 somersaults into a ditch. And I stand up and get ready to try to chase this van down when I realize Cody has hit the brake and stopped the van.
Jeez.
And I don't say, oh, that hurt. I say, Cody, why the fuck did you stop?
Push light.
Bush
He
Light.
goes, I wanted to make sure you're okay. I said, I'm fine, but now we're stopped and I have no gas. He goes, oh, shit. So crew
David.
chief Jonas and trucker David had to come bring us gas, and he was not happy.
Which one?
But Jonas. Because we were an hour late
Oh, God.
to the racetrack to unload our car. NASCAR was pissed. Jonas was pissed. Rick was pissed.
Been there.
And I was in pain. Because that did not feel good.
He's like,
So-
I jumped out of a moving van. What else do you want from me?
Like, in reference, like, the fastest humans, like, can run, like, 17 miles an hour. I think
He can go 30.
35 is hauling ass.
Do you think I'm thinking straight at
Dude, this is
6:30 in the
double-
morning?
There is
The fastest human.
There is no situation where I'm going to say, I'm going to jump out of this car at 35 miles an hour.
I jumped out
None.
of boats. There's water.
Listen, man, I
And they probably
wasn't
weren't
thinking
going
logically.
35.
I was just trying to get to the racetrack. I just wasn't thinking logically.
This man's dedicated. You're dedicated.
I'm lucky
weren't
I
paying
am
man was
dead.
going to lose his
Hey,
life.
let me know when we're down below 15 miles an hour, and then I'll jump out.
I mean, yeah, I think 15's reasonable.
Not to push a 8,000
Not
pound
for me,
van.
like 7.
Didn't.
Like
if
7.
it-
7 miles an hour is faster than
Well,
you
here's the
think it is.
problem, though, Davey. If he wouldn't have hit the brakes, he'd have been 100 yards down the
Yeah,
road,
you're
and you'd have never
catching
caught
him
him
doing
anyway.
35. You'll
You
be
said
there.
y'all were
You
go-
think I can't catch 100 yards? I mean, I know I wasn't going to catch
Not
a
going
35 mile an
35.
hour van. I'd have caught him eventually.
half a mile.
I've seen you run.
Jack,
But I can walk to a gas station half a mile away. It's not like I'm going to get out of breath and die before I
like
get there.
Panthers run like
Aha. So
25.
Davey was just trying to get out of pushing the van.
All right. Here we go.
Davey, now your brightest moment.
It's like, I'll
say-
jump out, the van will be lighter, it'll go farther.
Jesus. It doesn't matter. He hit the brakes, but they didn't feel good.
35 is digging, son. Props,
No
props
shit.
to you.
I was digging into the ground.
Props
See,
to you.
that's not too bad. Usain Bolt's top speed during his world record run was 27.33 miles an hour.
Do I look like Usain Bolt?
You apparently thought you freaking did.
You're not
Okay.
thinking
So that's
rationally.
10, that's 10
Neither
miles an hour
are you.
faster
So
If
than
we
I
take
thought.
Neither
Davey
were
out
you.
to one of those like speed guns where he could run at it and it'll tell him how fast he's real. Give us some speeds. We're going to do this in the
11
future.
miles an hour.
God.
I don't know if he could top 10.
I bet he can do 11.
We can go out here and do it with your truck. We don't need a speed gun. You go 10 miles an hour and say cruise control, and I'll see if I can run next to it.
Can you just jump out of the truck?
No, I'm not ever doing that again.
Yeah, reenact it for us.
No.
Yeah, because there's nothing.
TikTok
I
would love that. I would love that.
We would probably get flagged for
I would
illegal
have it on
activity.
repeat.
You'd roofie him. What?
I would have it on repeat.
Repeat. I thought you said roofie. I'm gonna roofie.
No.
Maybe if we roofie him, he'll do it. I don't
We're
know.
the 3 best friends that anyone could have.
4-man wolf pack. You damn right.
All right, so we'll move to the last segment because I'm tired of talking about me jumping out of the car. You got something to say?
Woo!
All right, we will move on to the podium.
What's our time looking like? Does anybody know? Does
Damn,
anybody time
Davey,
this?
I thought you were smarter. That just blows my mind. You jumped out of
That he thought he could run
35
35
mile an
mile
hour.
an hours.
like
35
that is
miles
digging,
an hour.
son. Sheesh.
I had a lot of confidence back then.
Apparently,
Yeah, and it knocked it out of you, didn't
he
it?
left it in that
You
ditch.
quit. Yeah.
It's probably a good thing. All right, so we're going to start a new segment. We're going to intertwine some of the test drive and the bar from the bushes. We're going to move on. We're going to make the podium. Every time we do this, we're going to list our top 3 favorites from a list of random things. It could be fast food. It could be favorite type of taco. It could be whatever we decide we're going to do that week. In honor of the first...
Can we have a rim shot? Thank you.
It's a little bit late. It's a little bit late, but still.
He didn't even know what happened. I don't.
That's like the knocking last week when he was just looking around.
No, that's something that should have happened.
Oh, jeez.
I honestly have no idea what
Anyways, we'll move on. This week we're doing our top 3 favorite racetrack. We're not just going to go off the track. We're going to go off the location. We're going to go off to what there's to do around it.
Restaurants.
We're going to go off of our times
We
there.
gotta go by what's around it.
Not. You don't have to.
You don't
Just
have to, but
criteria.
everything factors into what makes that racetrack your favorite. Say you enjoy Pocono, which I know no one does.
No.
Pocono is the place of love. It's the mountain of lovers. It's the honeymoon capital of 1990.
It's because there ain't nothing to do but fuck.
Bush pie! Stop hitting the wrong button.
That button's fine. All right.
Bush lie.
So anyways, who wants to start us off?
PJ. I vote PJ.
Ooh.
PJ gets to go first.
PJ, 3 favorite racetracks. And go. You got
That's
15
tough.
seconds.
Nah, you can explain.
I've been to like 71.
Go into
racetracks.
detail why you like these places.
What's your third?
Go three,
Start
two,
with
one.
number 3, then number 2, then
Easier
number
to
1.
start
And
with number
explain
one.
why. But we're trying to create build up. Stupid.
Sure.
Explain why you enjoy these areas, these racetracks.
I'll go do it probably different than all you guys
That's fine.
because I've worked on cars and multiple different things.
All right.
So-
Okay, it's not a dick measuring competition.
No.
I mean,
I'm
you can do it as a fan. It doesn't matter.
Be different.
You're just jealous Davey has the biggest mic.
It is erect right now. so I'm gonna go to dirt racing as my third.
Wow.
Yeah, see,
I agree. I wasn't expecting that.
it's gonna like most people are gonna hate the place, but I really like Friendship Motor Speedway. No, I do because
Because it's shut down?
Yeah, it was real good. Wasn't
that's
it?
cause my ex-old
Kidding.
boss,
Kidding.
Mr. Coble.
I have always
my boy
heard good
blue.
things about friendship.
All right, a new rule. No one but the speaker can talk until he is finished with all 3. And then we will rate him. Go. Stop
you're
talking.
doing-
We'll do what to him?
Rate.
I did not sign up for that.
Gotcha.
Rate.
All right, go ahead.
Okay. Howdy, not any. Yeah. I just remember the race I was there with Kevin Powell. It was the shittiest time at the racetrack, but it was the greatest time at the same time. Because he hit everything. He rode the backstretch wall at one point in time. We went to load it up. The only thing that was left was the roof. But it was the most fun I've ever had at a dirt track. I've been to multiple, and that was the most fun. Just because Kevin made it a great experience. And the track is...
Push light.
All right. You're interrupting the story.
I know. Sorry. I broke the rules.
Go.
We got 8 more to do.
Push.
It's fine.
False advertising. Yeah, so that's my number 3. I mean, it's a terrible place, but I liked it just because of my experience there.
Okay.
Number 2, oh god, this is gonna be hard.
That's all she said.
Ah!
Only for a little bit.
But
I'll go with the road course, Coda. It is the nicest, probably any racetrack I've ever been to, the nicest facility. And the racing's good. Location, I mean, it's out in the middle of nowhere, but the racing is great. The facility is like top notch, obviously, because F1 runs there. But I mean, we've all been there. Like, it is the nicest facility I've ever been to for the racing, for the facilities, for everything besides the location out in the middle of nowhere. And the little ski jump thing is pretty cool. At nighttime, at 3 a.m. while me and Davey were racing golf carts because we're bored to death.
That goes back to the garage never closing.
Yes. Ooh, number 1.
Number 1.
See, it's gonna be.
say Bowman Gray.
I will never say that. It's number 1 most hated track.
Yeah, bullshit.
Yet he comes back over and over.
Got to be there, my little brother, Davey. Daytona. Just because it was my first race on the road with an Xfinity team.
Yeah.
Daytona. So that tops all of them.
Strong list. I've never been to Friendship, but strong list.
I've driven past it before.
I don't even
They were
know what's
having a
on.
yard sale at the time.
I'd like it to still be open, but I think it was a very strong move by the owners who said, no, shut it down. If y'all are going to act like this toward our officials, we're done.
That's fair.
So I think the owners were just renting it.
So Coble was running it, but there was a money man behind that.
Yeah.
I actually
Always
used to work
money
for
man
Mitchell.
behind.
That's who taught me everything I know about dirt cars is Mitchell Coble.
All right, Davey. Give us your list. Number 3.
I'm
on
going
deck.
last
Why?
because I want to.
Well, we're
Go
going
talk,
over.
Chris. 3 favorite racetracks.
All right.
Oh, shit.
This is tough for me, and I haven't given it much thought.
Makes it all the better.
That's true. That was my plan.
Been to a lot of racetracks. Haven't been to as many as you guys because I don't travel every racetrack every year. But I'm going to go number 3 and say North Wilkesboro because I was so excited to watch the progress over the last year, documented every step of the way from last year at Bristol when they announced that they were going to do the racetrack revival. And everybody kind of knew that would be a way to lead into something, but they didn't have any idea what might happen. Although I don't think Marcus Smith had any idea what was going to happen until after that Cars Tour race. And then documenting every step along the way and seeing that come to fruition and seeing the All-Star race there in person and seeing that facility transformed into a 21st century resto mod. It still feels old, but it really looks great and new and has the lights. That's number 3. Even if it's out in the middle of nowhere, I mean, it's an hour drive from right here where we're at. We can be there if we wanted to in an hour in the door watching racing when they have some races. There's a mod race coming up at some point. I can't remember when.
Can't wait.
It's in September. I want to say.
Nice.
Back at the shop. We'll be there live.
Yeah. The number 2 for me probably be Darlington. I love watching racing at Darlington. I love racing on iRacing at Darlington. I think it's so difficult. It looks great.
Can you put your face on the screen?
Oh, yeah.
You made a really good facial expression there, and I really wish we could have seen it.
Darlington. I like Darlington. I like the way it feels. It feels like it's out. You're not supposed to interrupt me. You made the rule.
Jackass.
It feels like it's out in the middle of nowhere, but it's right there on the edge of town. You come in from one direction, the direction I come in from north and west, and you don't see anything until you're at the track, basically. I think you can go the other way and go to Buc-ee's if you want to when you leave.
Yeah, Buc-ee's.
Or anything else in that little town. But it races great. The different ends with the different radiuses that cause cars to not handle great, but it just, everybody knows. And it was one of the first tracks I ever went to when I got of age and wanted to go to a racetrack. And me and Davey's mama went there the first time.
What happened there?
Was she
nothing.
drunk?
Nothing. No, because her grandparents lived in right down the road, and there was a strict 2-bedroom policy on those weekends in town.
They go to bed early.
They say the ones that have the strictest parents are always the most wild. So I guess in this situation,
No comment since
Ain't
that
it,
ended
baby?
20 years ago, 20 some years
hold
ago,
on, I'll fix it
25
for
years
you.
ago.
yeah. If you want to comment on that, you're welcome to.
But I mean, that was one of the first racetracks that I went to, and it isn't my favorite or second favorite because of his mama necessarily, but just because it was the memory of going and sitting in that Harold Brasington grandstand under the tin roof and watching racing and, you know, watching those old school drivers do their thing, you know, like Davey Allison and Alan Kowicki and
Damn, that was a long time ago.
yeah, it was in the 90s.
Was that before conception?
Yes, it was preconception. The only race I
That's
can't
when
remember.
he knew
We
he
went
was
to
going to name his child.
we went to the race, and you know, I'm treading water here with getting in trouble if.
Lol.
But you know, talking about stuff like that, it's a past life. But the only race I remember, we went to a race when Davey was 3 years old. Would have been '97. We went down, and my dad was living near Atlanta, and we dropped Davey off with Papa Bill, and me and his mama went to the final race of the season in '97. I want to say it was '97. Yeah, it was '97, and a pair of brothers won the championship. Remember who? Come on, pick it up.
Bobby and Terry.
Yep, Bobby won the race. Terry won the championship. It was a good one. It was a good one. It was one of the last races also that they ran on the current or the previous oval.
That's cool.
So because all of it.
Favorite racetrack?
No.
Then why are you telling the story?
That was sidebar.
Sidebar.
Why are you talking?
Because
baby.
because somebody asked if the race we went to was after conception, and no, the Darlington was pre.
Why were they talking?
Why are you talking, Dave?
And I
You
don't
came up
remember
with the
Pro
fucking
Summer.
rule.
I don't remember going to any other races that stick
Looks
out.
like.
We may have went to Rockingham or somewhere. We did go to Rockingham once or twice pre, and we found places to camp near Rockingham in a big old tent that we had. It was a stupid tent, but anyway.
Okay, so
that tent.
giving us any of your favorites. North Wilkesboro was a favorite,
Number 3,
right?
number 2, Darlington.
Yes.
And
Oh, okay, Darlington
and
was-
number 1, another track out in the middle of no effing where. And I haven't said it out loud yet, so it's not Rockingham. What in the world?
Do they have hot dogs?
Shut up, Davey.
Martinsville's up there on the list, but it's not going to be in the top 3.
I thought you were going to use your strong hand. I didn't know what was going on.
That's the Chicago.
No. Don't say it.
What?
I don't want anybody showing up here at the shop.
Yeah, they know
That's
where we're
definitely
at.
where we're at.
The number 1 racetrack
Yes.
mimics / stepsisters PJ's number 1 track, and I am talking about Talladega.
Help me, step bro. I'm stuck. Sorry. I'm so
Are
sorry.
those tracks stepbrothers or stepsisters, or stepbrother and stepsister?
I don't know.
Anyway,
Maybe both.
Talladega.
but yeah,
got
that
a song
was
written.
Likely in Talladega, they're cousins and husband and wife.
Still love you, Talladega.
But yes, Talladega. And I didn't. I went to it for the first time I went to Talladega. I was 3 years old. It was 1970 something. There's not even any pictures that I have. There were pictures of that. I don't have them anymore. I wish I did. Hopefully my sister will find them somewhere one of these days. But went to that infield on a camper, watched them cars go round and around in 1976. It may have been the race. I can't remember what race it would have been that we would know highlights from. But anyway, there were highlights and races, and I enjoyed it. I grew up thinking Talladega, and never went back to Talladega until me and him and his brother went in 2020 before COVID, right?
Nope.
After COVID.
After COVID.
Yeah, the first time, that was when we camped. We went, the COVID reopened, and they only let 25,000 people in, and I got a ticket, or 3. It was great. That was a fun
There
weekend.
was probably about as many people at the dirt track across the street
Yeah,
the
there
night
were.
before, too. And
The
it
dirt
was
track was
cold.
crowded, and it was cold, and it lasted.
Did
It
they
wasn't a
make
very
you
efficient
sit
show.
6 feet apart?
No, they crammed everybody in the same dang section.
Of course.
Pretty much.
They made you sit, they split rows. So there was a row,
Skip
open.
a row.
seat, or whatever, a row, open row.
You could sit close to your party, but you're supposed to sit farther away from other parties.
Right.
Yeah.
That
I
didn't
think it was
happen.
all general admission, too. Like, I don't even think they did seats.
Concession stands open?
I don't remember. Yeah, for the most part. Because you couldn't really... I don't think we did any. Did we buy beer and stuff? I think we did.
We brought beer in.
Yeah, we did. Jeremy had a freaking 24-pack in his clear cooler.
Yeah. It was a clear backpack, and the backpack busted on him.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Yep. That would be Talladega. If it was closer, I'd go every race. But yeah, and then doing, we went back last year, I guess, and me and Davey did some infield walking around, but didn't do Talladega Boulevard. If we'd have had more time and it wasn't,
I don't think you could film there.
I didn't need to film. I just need to
There's
walk around.
a lot of
Yeah,
stuff
we were just
goes
hanging out.
down
I
there.
went down the boulevard on our way into the track this past race, and it was not a good idea.
At the last year's
That was a good idea.
During the day.
April race, the race was on my birthday, right? I think it was. Or was it the day before? I think it was on my birthday.
Last year?
Yeah.
It was on your birthday, because I had jury duty this year.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
Monday.
Jury
And,
duty,
but
jury duty.
I wasn't.
jury
We were there to watch, but I had a couple of segments to film for work, so I was able to jump in the 3-hauler and ride the ride out with him. And Davey jumped in the truck and followed us out. Davey, that's a story we should tell at some point.
I don't remember.
We'll
the
hold on
story.
to that one when you followed the 3 truck out while I was up there riding with him.
Save it for Talladega.
All right, well, we'll go over what that story
anyway.
is. Well, that's yeah.
We'll talk about
That's
it.
what we're gonna do.
That was an interesting.
Don't look at me like that, you son of a bitch. I'll cut your mic and you won't get to tell your favorite tracks. I'll cut you completely out.
He's out of the wheel. Anyway, those are my 3 favorite tracks, and those are my reasons.
Okay.
And I'm Chris Weaver. Back to you.
Back to you back at the shop. All right. Let's make this short and sweet, because we all know that everything I talk about is short and sweet.
No comment.
Cut that. It's not going to get cut, I know. So, number 3 is Vegas, because I freaking love Vegas.
Very good one.
People that have been to Vegas, some people hate it. I love it. Absolutely love it. The city's cool as crap. And, yeah. I mean, you don't have to have money to have fun in Vegas. If you want to win money, you have to have money. Like, everybody thinks, I want to go to Vegas with $20 and stick it in a slot machine and I'm going to win $1 million. That's not how it works. If you go with like $4 or $5 grand, maybe you'll make some money. I've won a couple hundred before. I won, what was that, in the rental car center? I won $800 off of a $20 bill.
That's another story.
Yeah. Not too many details, but it was a good day. yeah, as far as the track, though, I love the track. They've done a ton of promotional stuff, like especially with South Point where the racers stay. Stayed in South Point probably more than any hotel anywhere on the road ever.
I like South Point.
I love
Stay
it.
in South Point.
Beautiful, beautiful place. And it's a little far from the Strip, but that's part of the reason why I like Vegas so much is because we have a hotel there that we stay in that, is awesome. And Brendan Gaughan and his dad Michael take really good care of us. So that's definitely part of it. Then the Strip, everything's awesome. But anyways, that's why I like Vegas. Vegas is number 3. Number 2, ladies and gentlemen, Homestead Miami Speedway. And that is because back in 2021, I got my first NASCAR Premier Series win there in person. Obviously, been on winning teams and won races, but like that was my first win on the car that I was on.
Who's that with?
Myatt Snyder. So we got lucky. No, we got lucky. We ran top 5 all night. Whole race we ran top 5. We were getting close to second. We were running him down, and we were going to be able to pass him. And we had pretty much come up with the fact we were going to finish second or third. That was the year that David Starr blew a tire and wrecked right in front of leader Noah Gragson, who is
Just that year.
phenomenal. Who's phenomenal at Miami. And that took him out. And on the restart, we lined up beside Tyler Reddick in the 23-hour motorsports car at the time and run the high side, pulled away from him, and won the race. It was exciting. It kind of sucked in some ways because it was during COVID time, so we weren't allowed in victory lane. Still awesome because we won the race, but I'm ready to win another one. Number 1, ladies and gentlemen. Number 1 track for me is one that Davey ruined because he already mentioned it, Martinsville Speedway. Martinsville was the first track I went to. I went to the modified race in like 06, and it was the coolest thing because we got to walk on the track beforehand. This is when they brought those giant generators in with the lights, and like meeting all the modified drivers and like being down there, and the walls had like the Sprint Cup logos on it.
Was that the last year?
I don't think it was the last year. It was one of the last years.
The year that Frank and Teddy Christopher were on the front row.
I think so, yeah, actually.
That was the last year.
No kidding. But I was stoked. Stoked to be there just because, like I said, I'd never been to it. Like, I'd never been to Charlotte, never been to North Wilkesboro. That was my first place.
Keep going.
Oh, God.
You're good.
Okay, I think I know what he just said. And so, wow. Anyways, the hot dogs are awesome. Love Martinsville. It was also the place I went to my first Cup race. It was the year Tony Stewart, 06. Tony Stewart won and climbed the fence. So the modified race was probably in 04. Because I went back in 06 to watch the Cup cars. Big Dale Jr. fan back then. And that was the day that they knocked the right front off. And he had all the extra cooling. So he drove from the back of the field like 3 times. And that was just like a dream weekend because that, I went.
Didn't he break a shifter that weekend too? I feel like that's the same weekend.
I think so. My grandpa took me to that race. And both of my grandpas are my reasonings, part of my reasoning behind being where I'm at today. So it was pretty cool. He's not here anymore, but I always have the memories, and every time I go back to Martinsville, I get to think about that day and probably think about it for the end of time, till the end of time. Also, completely unbiased, Martinsville's a short track. We love short track racing, beating and banging, and typically at the end of a Martinsville race, you may see 1 or 2 cars without some sort of damage. Very physical.
The ones that fell out lap 1.
Exactly. So, Martinsville Speedway. That's it.
The hot dogs are really good.
Hell yeah, they are.
Good hot dogs.
Don't ever change back from Jesse Jones ever again. Pink hot dogs. If it ain't pink, it ain't right. All right. On to the next. Talking about hot dogs, not tacos, Davey.
All right.
Number 3.
Number 3. Third favorite track to go to. PJ has already mentioned this one.
That's okay.
I believe it is a fan favorite, and I very much enjoy it. It is Daytona International Speedway, not just because I love speedway racing. I think it's so cool. It gives anybody a shot, and it's just fun to watch. But the area, I love Daytona Beach. I love, you can go to the beach. You can go get some wings. You can hang out at the Oyster Pub. You can see a guy get shot while you're standing at the bar.
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah.
I thought we were talking about Daytona, not Chicago.
We are.
Turns out dangerous stuff can happen in Daytona too. How about that?
And then the racetrack,
Weird.
in February especially, when you drive through that gate, all the green grass, the flags are blowing. There's a nice cool breeze. It's about 77 degrees outside. You go in there, and this rush of energy hits you, and you just feel every past champion of the Daytona 500 hit your soul.
Pretty awesome.
Every single one.
Every single one. You look up to where it says
TJ.
World Center of Racing, and you can feel every single Daytona 5 championship hit you right in the heart.
Daytona 5.
I feel you on that. I felt the same way the first time there with an Xfinity car.
And I feel that every time.
Yeah.
Anytime I drive
It
into
never
Daytona.
gets old.
And it's always nice, especially in February. It's a little warm in the summer. But still, it's always a great feeling. The rush of emotions that hits you when you drive through the tunnel.
Daytona got an honorable mention on my list. The only reason I didn't pick it is because he picked it.
It's completely fun.
Yeah.
But it's your top 3.
Daytona is Daytona.
So that's fine. That's fine.
Legendary.
Number 2 has also already been mentioned. It was mentioned by Sir Christopher. It is Talladega. That is also another one of those things. It's just a great time to go to. Obviously, we have made a trip the last few years. We haven't gone this year yet. Maybe we'll get that. We always make a weekend trip of it, see a Braves game, go to the racetrack. Just an hour and a half outside of Atlanta. May or may not stay in a Roach Motel in Atlanta, but that's okay.
Oh my God, that's another story we can hold for another week.
Atlanta.
But Davey, isn't that dangerous?
It might be. Shit. We walked to the
In Atlanta, that one was.
but it was right across the street from the nice one. And we walked the same street to get to the racetrack.
Yeah,
Yeah, what side
we
you're
had to
on.
go in the
To
lobby of that
baseball
place.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways,
Remember them screaming and yelling in the hall
I
while we were in the
remember a
room?
lot. It was So, but Talladega, Alabama, love the track, love the area. Which by the area I mean the gas station we were at when we thought the race was an hour and not 5 minutes, and the campground that's right next to the dirt track across the street. But when you're riding down the highway, you see those 6 or 7 big flags they have on the back strand. You see it, and it's just like, God dang, that place is ginormous, and it's amazing. And the sound of those cars when they go by,
Cue Eric Church, Talladega.
man, there's nothing like it. So that's my number 2. My number 1, it's a place that holds near and dear to my heart. We've talked about it tonight. I don't think any of y'all have mentioned it. It's the first place that I had infield access. I was part of the media that weekend in 2013. Was doing a reality series following Kevin Harvick when he was still driving the 29 Budweiser car, and that is Bristol Motor Speedway. That place is loud. That place is fast. That place gives you all the feels in all the wrong places, and it is amazing.
Wrong places.
You know what I mean. Dirty places. Turns me on. Hot, nasty bastard. Badass speed, like Eleanor Roosevelt said.
Hey, listen.
America.
Talladega Nights, that movie gives NASCAR a bad name, so.
America.
Still
I
fun.
remember hitting the side of the building. I was holding a boom mic with a GoPro attached to it. You can watch that video today. I hit that building and almost dropped everything. Almost got ran over by Kyle Busch. Kevin Harvick looked pissed off
He
that
was
we were
only
there
going
interviewed him,
35.
but he gave us a great interview. That place was incredible. I still have that video on Facebook of watching cars come by. It was called the Nationwide Series at the time, coming for the restart. I believe Kevin was driving the Armored Vienna car that day, 33. That's how long ago this was.
Oh, it was 10 years ago this year.
Oh, yeah.
This was 2013. So it was my first experience. I love going to Bristol. I love that place. It's not a far drive from here, so we'll go. We were there when Matt Kenseth won the race when it rained all day in 2015. We were there. We lost our tent into the creek in the parking lot. that
We
day.
did not get to eat those pork chops.
We were cooking pork chops.
Dude.
And it was,
the creek
let's
by the
just-
church?
Yeah. Let's just say a sudden rainstorm came on and the wind took our 4-post tent into the creek. So
We also lost a tent.
If that would have been this year, they would not have finished that race.
Dude, I
Because that
can't.
storm was coming.
I
it
camped
was
in
bad.
Bristol one year, and when we woke up, I don't know how the tent was still shut and sealed. The whole inside of the tent was soaked. We were soaked. Everything was soaked. But
Yeah, when it rains,
still
it pours.
awesome. Yeah,
There's one time that you slept good. You didn't wake up for that.
And I'm just friggin' knocked out. Wake up like, why am I soaking wet? What happened? What
That's a heck of a
happened?
dream.
Yeah, I'm like, man, I don't even remember that one. That sucks.
Yeah, but that is my favorite racetrack to go to is Bristol Motor Speedway.
Okay, I like it.
I think we're
yeah.
we're good. We've been going for a long time, so I think we should end it on a high note. End it there. We've talked a lot.
What was your number one again?
Talladega.
Yeah. So all of our favorite tracks, number ones, are within like 8 hours.
Yeah, Talladega, Daytona, Bristol, Martinsville.
Davy's first race was at Martinsville. I like to say that story because it was on his birthday in 1997.
Oh shit.
It was
98.
Stupid.
I did the math wrong in my head that quick.
Actually, that was my first road course win. Was at Daytona. Just thought about it.
I thought you were gonna say 1998.
No, I was only 7.
Well, we'll save that story for another time. Anybody got anything of importance? We've been going for an hour and a half, and it's 10 o'clock.
Nope. Thanks for everybody.
My wife
out
is
there.
texting me, so it is time to stop.
Followers, viewers, share with your friends. We love y'all. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank all my guys, everybody back at the shop.